You know, there comes a time in every golf cart owner's life where you sit here and think to yourself, it's time for a lithium conversion. Well, that's what we're doing today. So let's take you up front and show you what we chose for our system. Well, here it is. This is what we chose for our lithium conversion. This is the Cloud Energy CL48 100GS lithium battery. This is a 51.2 volt, 100 amp hour lithium battery. Now this is the complete kit they sell on there. You can also get other, if you've got a 36 volt or there's more amp hours, they got a wide variety of stuff for your cart. If you're doing this conversion, not only just for golf carts, but they have them for other environments too, so you should check them out. I'll leave a link to them down below. What's cool about this one has a 200 amp discharge BMS in it, so you know you can get what you're needing out of it, so you don't trip the BMS if you only had 100 like some of them have. But it has a 400 peak for about 30 seconds, it claims. So if it happened to get up there, it will hold it for 30 seconds. This is a pretty nice setup. Now, like I said, this is a complete kit, so it includes the charger, the hold down, the little screen display with the cable and everything you're going to need. So we're going to open this up, show you what we got in here. It's pretty cool. I think the name is pretty cool because it's probably one of them overseas companies, but being that it has the name Cloud Energy, that's a pretty awesome name. I like that. Well, you get a nice resealable envelope here with your instruction book and how to install Bluetooth function, everything you're going to need to know right here. I mean, the complete install, we're going to try to show you that the best we can. Our cart's a 2007 Club Card DS. So the biggest thing you're trying to learn when you're going through all this is how to bypass your onboard computer there. So that's what we're going to hopefully accomplish here in this video. You also get your stainless bolts for the top of your battery if you're going that route. Set those aside. See if we can get this packaged really well. It's got nice foam on top. See a big chunk of foam there. That's a good looking battery. Here's your cable. This 16.4 feet of cable, so it's definitely going to reach your cart from front to back. Here's your battery tie downs they include. They look just to be like some cheaper kind of ratchet straps, but they're going to be more than enough to hold this battery down. Plus they color match. See the bright orange color? It's going to include that. In this box, this is where we have the onboard charger. This is included. This is what was this one? Yeah, this was a 58.4 volt, 20 amp waterproof charger. So you can mount this right on board. It's going to charge your system right up. It can charge from 0 to 100% in 5 hours with this charger. It's got the Anderson type plugs on there for easy connection if you're going that route with the thumb pull on it, which is nice. Also got the clamps for the battery if you're doing it that way, but we're going to wire that in. Not sure how for this video. We'll show you how we're gonna do it. Here's the little display that goes right in that spot on your dashboard. It has that warning label. This will pretty much cut out, and you cut that out and put this right in its spot. And it has, like I said, the cable plugs in the back of this and plugs in the battery. So that's pretty nice. Get this thing out of here. Now the total weight of this thing is 85 pounds, I think, or 81.5 pounds. So, I mean, it's not light, but it's definitely lighter than the lead acid you're going to have in your car. So you're going to save probably an easy 100 pounds. So what does each of those lead acids weigh? Probably 60 pounds a piece, at least for them bigger ones. So you got 6, and we have 4 in ours. They're 4 12 volt ones. So 6 to 120, 240. So yeah, you're saving a lot of weight, about 160 pounds. Oh, let's get this out of here. Well, here it is. Took a little bit to get out of that foam. It's tightly in there. This is the Cloud Energy CL48 100GS. They have another one on there. It's about the same, but it has a metal housing. This has the ABS plastic housing, which I'm sure saves a little bit of weight. It's pretty nice. I'll tell you a little bit more about this. Like I mentioned, it has the 200 amp BMS, which you're going to want. Some of them, the other ones have like 100 amp. You're probably going to end up tripping that, especially if you're trying to go uphill or something like that. It has an IP67 waterproof rating. So, you know, you can not be afraid to drive through puddles or the rain or something, as long as you're not submerging, I would suppose. And it's supposed to get 600 or 6,000 cycles out of this battery, which is a 10 years of use without replacing is what they claim. I'm not sure. I'll get back to you in 10 years to let you know, but we'll see. It has all them protections in place that you're looking for in one of these. It has the overcharge protection, the over discharge protection, the overcurrent protection, short circuit protection, and overheating protection. So it has all that built in. So with the protections, like for the temperature range, you can go from -4 degrees to 140 degrees, which is 20 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius, or -20 Celsius. Yeah, negative 20 Celsius, 60 degrees Celsius. So it's got quite a wide range for you. And that display, like I said, you can use, it gives you real-time status of the battery. It also has a Bluetooth app you can connect to with that to let you know the current status of your battery. This also has grade A cells in it. So that's better than, some of the cheaper ones, but the B cells and stuff like that. You don't want none of that. It's nice that it includes the charger and everything. You're going to need to get this going. Like I said, the hardest part of this job is figuring out how to bypass the onboard computer. And I've watched videos and tried to find something. There's not a lot on the DS. You can find a lot on the Precedent, but on the DS, it's not that easy. So hopefully we can figure it out in this video and share it with you guys, so you guys can do the same thing if you're looking to do that. Now the size of this battery, it's definitely bigger than a 12-volt battery, but you're only doing one of them instead of 4 of the regular deep cycle batteries. So this is like, I think 20.4 inches this way, by 10.6 inches by 9 inches tall. So it's chunky. And like I said, it weighs 81.5 pounds, but still you're lifting 81.5 pounds at once compared to 60 at once. But overall, you're saving about 140, 160 pounds overall. I don't have a scale to weigh them, but according to what they're saying it weighs and what I know the other batteries weigh, it's crazy. It also has, this is 100 amp hour, like I mentioned, 5,120 watt hours. So it's going to give you more than you had with your regular stock batteries. You're going to get longer range, probably pick up some speed and everything with that. 10,240 watts of continuous load power. Probably just numbers a lot of us don't care about, but the 200 amp you're going to want to care about, and then your amp hours you're going to want to care about. They do have ones that are higher amp hours if you're looking for something like that. It will set you up a little bit more in price, but for the price point this is, compared to a lot of them out there, it's a pretty attractive price point. I'll leave links to it down below. You guys can go check it out. So we want to thank them for sending this to us for review. They are the sponsor of today's video, sending this battery for us. So we're excited to get this in the cart. So let's get over here. We're going to take the seat off. The first thing we're going to do is take the seat off, flip that lever into tow mode. If you have it on your DS cart, you want to flip that into tow mode. Then we're going to commence to taking out the old batteries, cleaning it up in there a little bit, getting rid of some of those cables. That's another advantage of going to lithium. We get to unclutter a little bit. And then we got to figure out how to mount this in there. I'm sure it ain't going to just sit in there in some spot. So we're probably going to have to make a little frame for it or something, a little tray to set the battery in. But we're ready to do that. So with that being said, let's go over here at the cart and start tearing it apart. All right, we have our seat taken off. Like I said, the first thing we want to do is click our switch to tow. And then we have an onboard charger on this one, on the lead acids. We have the Trojans in here. There's 4. We have the onboard charger. We mount it to the bottom of the seat, keeps it cleaner. We're taking that off. Then we can remove the seat totally. And then we can disconnect everything, all the wires in here, get these batteries out so we can clean up this whole area. It's going to look neater. That way we can find a spot, like hopefully in the center of the cart, where we can make a frame to put our new battery. But we got to get all these old ones out first. We don't need to show you that. We just got to take the brackets off that hold them in, take all them out, disconnect the wires. Remember, you are hooked up all together, so be careful at the end of your wires. You don't ground a mouse somewhere and get some sparks. You don't want that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get these all out of here, and then we'll come back and show you what's left when we're done. Then, like I said, we'll probably have to clean up in here, and then we could find a spot to make a tray and put it in there for the new battery. So let me get these torn out of here, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, we got the batteries out. You can see we pulled them out. And we pulled our converter down there. It takes the 48 down to 12 volt. We moved that out of the way. We're not sure if we're going to go back with one of those and put it into like a fuse block on the wall there, or if we're just going to run maybe a separate 12 volt battery just for the 12 volt, like the lights, the lighted mirrors, the radio, things like that. We might just run a separate one for that. Not sure yet. But right now we're commenced to scraping up the frame, trying to clean it up. As you can see, it's got a lot of the galvanic corrosion on there. So we're trying to clean all that up. We're going to give it a coat of paint. We're going to pressure wash in here. We got a battery powered pressure washer. Don't give us a lot of pressure, but it's enough to clean off these trays. And our battery is going to fit between that main frame rail and that one over there. It's going to fit right in between here and still have like 3 inches to spare. So we're going to make a battery box, like a battery tray that fits along these 3 brackets here. Then we're going to weld a bolt to the bottom of the frame we make, and then go down through these frame rails. That way it'll hold it in place, because we can't really weld the steel to the aluminum unless we wanted to make an aluminum tray, which we don't. So we're just going to make it out of that. That's going to fit perfectly in there. And we still got the spot over there for a battery, or even over here if we want to do that 12 volt thing I was saying. But it also gives us a spot to mount like that converter, or and the charger, like the charger that comes with this. It can mount here or over there. I kind of want to mount it up on a wall, like, you know, vertically. I don't want it flat because sand and dirt gets in the fan. I kind of want to mount it like that, but we'll figure that when we get to it. Right now, we're just going to clean this out. We're going to hose this out with the small pressure washer. Then we're going to clean up the rails and then give it a little coat of paint. Give that time to dry and while we're making the tray for the battery. But this is where we're at up to this point. We tried to mark all our wires, like where they went on the battery. So these were battery negatives. These were ones for like the lighted mirrors, the front light bar, the underglow lights, this kind of stuff. But we're probably going to end up putting a fuse block in here. So this will all go to the fuse block. There'll just be one wire off the battery going to the fuse block on negative and positive. Then we'll hook in with those. That would be better that way. And then that's it. So we're going to get this finished, cleaned up, and put a coat of paint on it. All right, guys, we got this cleaned out. We pressure washed it, cleaned it off, sanded up a little bit, got everything loose, and then we coated it. We used Rust-Oleum undercoating. We were going to paint this with self-etching primer and then some paint, but as we were cleaning it, we noticed that it was already undercoated. As soon as we started sanding it, it started clogging the paper. We put brake clean on there, and it like turned back to undercoating again. So we went and got some Rust-Oleum undercoating just to give it a nice coat in here so it looks good. As you can see, it looks pretty good. We're going to give that a day to dry, and then we're going to come in here and make our tray for the new battery. Another surprising thing, when we did the weighing of the batteries, we weighed the batteries that came out of here, like one, and then we weighed the big one. The big one weighs less than one of the other batteries. So we're saving 230 pounds altogether in weight. That's like a whole other person. So we're saving a lot of weight. That's going to let us get more range and speed and everything. So we're just going to give this a little time, let her dry out. And then, but for you, it'll seem just like that. We are back, guys. You can see here, our inside here is nice and dry. Looks pretty good in here. Next thing we're probably going to do is get our measurements for our battery and make a battery tray that's going to sit right along that and that rail. We're going to have it sit across there. We'll probably weld bolts on the bottom, like I mentioned, to mount it. But that's a perfect spot for it. And then we will commence to doing the bypass. We got to do the OBC bypass, which involves, you know, like disconnecting this, something to do with the ground here, and something to do on the OBC in the back. So we'll worry about that when we get to it. But right now we're just going to get our measurements, make a tray, and we'll get that put in here. So I'm not going to show you guys how to do that. It's just we're taking some angle iron, cut them at 45s, and put it together the size of the battery, and then we'll mount it in there. But here we go. All right, guys, we have our frame made, just a crude little quick one. Putting the final coat on here. This will be about 2-3 coats. Then we're going to let that dry overnight because it's pretty humid out here. Then we already got the holes drilled. You can see them in there. They're drilled to mount this to the frame. And then we've cut a piece of wood to go on the bottom because we're going to put aluminum in it, but we don't have that right now. So we're going to put the wood in the bottom, and then we have foam to line the sides so the battery doesn't rub against the side. But we need to get this all dried up before we go messing with it. But so we'll probably come back later today or tomorrow and finish it up, and then hopefully bypass that OBC, and we will be cruising down the road fast. We're going to also do like a speed test later on, probably another video, maybe even a range test, because we know our cart before got like 20 miles an hour. We're going to see if we can get much more with this lithium. We should, because it's, I mean, technically we took 230 pounds off the cart. Plus this thing is 51.4 volts or something like that. So a little bit more volts, give you a little more kick there. So time will tell. All right, guys, we are back. Our tray is done. We lined the whole sides with foam. It's closed cell foam right here. So our battery has some cushion to go against. This is a piece of, just for now, it's a piece of plywood to sit in the bottom of the tray. We got aluminum on order, which this bottom tray will be a piece of aluminum. So it'll be a slightly lower. I mean, because this ain't even treated wood, so it ain't gonna last that long. And we got a slight hump in it, so we put the hump up. So that's where we're gonna put our battery. It'll fit great. And then with the straps that came with it, there's spots you can see right down through here. There's a spot's gonna go it'll go right around our battery perfectly because it comes with two hold down straps. And then we made our tray was a little wider, so we'll have a little space on each side of the battery. Just gives you makes it a little neater looking, so you can run wires or whatever you got to do there. But we're gonna go get the battery and we're gonna set it in there and show you what it looks like sitting in there. All right, you can see we have our Cloud Energy battery in here. Fits perfectly with that foam. The way we designed it, it perfectly is snug in there. I mean, it does. You almost don't even need straps. That's how nice it is. And it gives you about 2.5 inches on each side. We're also going to be redoing our converter here, our DC to DC converter. We're going to mount it on like we'll put a piece of aluminum here. You can see the 2 tabs. We're going to tap into those, make a tray right here. We're going to put our DC to DC converter, and then we're going to put a fuse block, because we don't have a fuse block. Now's the perfect time to do that. Put them right here so they have a nice place to set up. And then on the other side, we'll put another piece of aluminum. That's where the charger is going to go, on those same tabs. I don't know if you guys can see them, but we're going to put aluminum up that side, and that's where our charger is going to mount. So I just don't want my charger flat, because there's more than enough room there. You can see all that, but it just, if you get into anything messy, it's going to get up into the fan of the charger. So we're going to put it on sideways vertically so it doesn't hold anything, and then route all these wires. So next, what we got to do is figure our bypass out so we can get going on that. I know one of the things is this gray wire here, we got to take apart. We don't need that anymore. So you can snip it or just take it apart. It's like a fuse. And then there's this black ground. This goes through this molding. There's only 2 wires in here, the gray one and the black one. It goes back to our OBC. We're going to be, like I said, this will be disconnected. We won't need it. We're going to take the black one, cut it back by the OBC, but leave a little bit if your OBC is still good, because you might need it for another card or something. And then you're going to run that to the battery negative up here, because that needs to be grounded. And then in the back on this particular cart, there's a wiring harness off the OBC and the controller. We got to jump the blue wire and the white wire, just jump them 2 together, and that's all we got to do back there. So let's go back to the back of this cart, see what we're dealing with back there, then we'll know what wires we got to jump. All right, we're back out here at it. See if I can soak through another shirt. It's pretty hot here in Florida. It's starting to rain too. So, but what we got to do is get back here to our OBC. We're going to bypass that back here. So what we need to do is unplug that plug I mentioned earlier, and we got to jump the blue and the white wire. On our particular model, might be different on yours. There's not a lot of information on this. Wayne's golf carts, I found on YouTube. He kind of helped out a little bit with his video, so that was nice. So we're going to do that. We're going to bypass that by joining those 2. We're going to get rid of the ground that's there. It comes out of that. We're going to cut that because that goes into the controller. We're going to be cutting that. Then up front, we're going to be taking that yellow fuse, that gray wire with the yellow thing. We're going to be taking that apart because we're not going to be using that charge port anymore. This comes with an onboard charger. We're just going to probably put it into a NOCO port at some point. That's supposed to be here today. But we're going to do all that. So this is what we have to do. If you already have a seat on your cart, a rear seat, it's going to be a little harder because the access port you need to get to is back here. We're having a little success here. We got a little bit of space. We just took the backrest off the back seat, and we can get to where we need to be, because we're going to need to get to the 2 bolts that go to this, and we're going to have to see, we got that ready to come off. That'll get us to the ground wire. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but down here is the plug we got to get to. Here's the blue and white wire. We're going to be jumping those, but this is going to be unplugged because we want to totally bypass that OBC. This end is the OBC. So we're going to be undoing that all together, taking the blue and the white wire out of here and jumping those, and then cutting that one ground. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get you guys the greatest view in there, because I don't have a lot of space, but I'll also link to that one video I found on YouTube that helps with this exact same thing on Wayne's golf carts there. He has a video where he shows right in here. He don't have the seat on yet. So I'll reference to that too with the link. You guys can check that out, but I'll also put some stills, and if I can get a shot, I'll get it for you. But I'm going to dig in here and get to that. All right, here's that plug I said we have to bypass. We're just going to unplug this like that. You can see this end is the female end, or excuse me, the male end is the end that goes to the OBC. We're going to be bypassing it all together. We're not even going to do nothing with that. So we'll just close that end off, unless you take your OBC out, which I'm just leaving ours in. Then on this one here, this is the one where we got to get the blue. You can see the blue and white wire there. We're going to be cutting those right here and then joining those 2 together. That's going to be like a jumper. And that's what needs to be done on that one. And then there's a ground. This one here that goes through your OBC, that one goes up front. That goes to your battery. That stays. But this one here, let's see if you guys can get it. This one here goes in here. This is a ground that goes to the OBC. We're going to be cutting that one so we can bypass that OBC altogether. You can see it goes into like a big pile of them. There's like 3 or 4 in one. That's why we have to cut it back here. And then we'll just seal the end with some heat shrink. And effectively back here, this should be bypassed. Then up front, I'll show you what we got to do up there. So let me get to this one here. All right, guys, we cut the negative that went to the controller from the OBC, and then we put heat shrink on it, the adhesive kind, like the marine grade. Just cap the end. And for now, we cut the wire with the blue and white, and we joined it with just a WAGO connector. It's hard to get a butt connector down in there, but we're going to end up soldering it and heat shrinking it so we have a watertight connection. You can also use this WAGO and just fill with dielectric. That's what we're going to do. So everything back here, here's the other end of the plug to the OBC, that's bypassed. And then, like I said, the other end of the ground, bypassed. The only other two wires are the black and gray you might be able to see there. Those two go up front. Now we'll go up here up front and show you what needs to be done with those. All right, we are up here. Remember those two wires I was showing you in the back, the gray and the black? That's these ones coming out of this sheathing. This is the gray one. You can cut that wire, just get rid of it. Like I said, we're not using this charge port, but for us, we're just going to pull the fuse. No connection there. That's fine. Then this black one, we're just going to be cutting that because we're not going to be using, like I said, the charge port, and we're bypassing OBC. So we're just going to cut that. That way that's not connected. And then we'll put a heat shrink on the end of those also. We'll show you that after we're done doing that. There is a red wire that goes to the charge port. That goes to over here. We had it marked as a battery positive. But since we're not using the charge port, I'm pretty sure we don't need that red one anymore. I guess we're going to find out as we hook everything up and see if it moves. So let me finish cutting these and getting these sealed off. Then we'll put the battery in. All right, we got our battery set in there. We got our cables set there so we know where they're going to reach. Now, this comes with the monitor so you can watch the status, live status of your battery, let you know where it's at. We have never plugged this in yet, so we're going to find out. You got this plugged on the side of the battery. There's a little, I don't know if you guys can see it, there's a little tab in there that's only going to go one way. Looks like it's at the top. So we're going to put that in, then just screw it in there. All right, we finished plugging that in there, just screw it into the side till the bottom's out, and then we're just going to plug into our display. Just for the sake of seeing what's going on, we're gonna be placing it here in the dash, right here, where this warning label is, and then we'll put that in. But we want to make sure everything's working first. Plugging this in, we'll turn it on here. There we go. This tells you live status of the battery. We're at 85% right now in standby. It tells you like the current you're using, the voltage, the temp of the battery. And then there's two other screens here. It tells you how many amp hours you got left, the max temp, the min temps. It tells you, I mean, it gives you a bunch of the information. This is each individual cell in the battery. So you can see what each individual cell is doing. But that's pretty nice. So we got those hooked in. Next, we're going to hook up our cables. We're going to hook up our positive and negative. You can see we got enough room to reach both. So we're going to get those hooked up. And then we'll also hook on the thing for the charger while we're putting that on. There's the connection that has the Anderson plug. We're just going to put those on there with it. And that way it's ready for the charger. So let's get hooking these up. All right, we got our positive and negative hooked up. We got this came with this battery for the charger. It's the Anderson type plug. So that we hooked that in also. You can see our display. We're going to put that in here in a minute, but we want to test, see if it's going to move. First thing we want to do is take it out of tow mode, put it in run. Turn our key. Put this in forward's good enough. Yeah, she's got some juice on her, so that's working. So I don't have to get too upset. So we're gonna have to get it out there and make sure we're getting full speed. I know I watched a video where a guy said he had some other ground issue where he couldn't get full speed, but once he fixed that, he was getting full speed. So I'll know once we get this out on there and get it tooling. So let me clear it up a few things. I'm gonna get this thing into the dash, so I don't have that wire hanging around. So I got to cut a nice little hole for that. So we'll come back after that and take you guys on a quick spin around. We'll just pop this seat on and clear up a few things just so we can see if it's going to work. And then we're going to tidy everything up. And then I don't know if we'll do it in this video or do a separate video on it, but we'll show you it all cleaned up with our charger mounted in there and the DC to DC converter and the fuse panel or the fuse block. We're going to put that on there. We'll probably show you an after photo of that, or you can check our Instagram or something. We'll have it up there. And before we close this video, I will also show you the charger. I'll just set it here and show you. Like I said, it just plugs into this end, and then you just plug it into a normal outlet. We did buy the NOCO plug for this port, which once that gets here, we'll bypass it. We'll probably put the NOCO in that port. That way we just plug an extension cord into there and she'll charge for us. So let me get this thing into the dash and we'll get back with you. All right, we have this in our dash. It is a little crooked. It's driving me nuts. We'll be fixing that later for sure. Let's peel off this thing here. Wham. So we got it. All our cords ran. We followed the existing wire harness underneath. That is nice. It's nice to have the the battery percentage right at your fingertips, because we have this old battery thing here. We're probably not going to use that anymore. Actually, I know we're not. We're just going to take that right out, save us some wires. But this is awesome. I love that. And I'm not sure how to shut it off yet. I tried. You press that each time and it goes through the settings here. But if you press and hold, nothing happens. So it might time itself out. I'll have to read the book. But whoop, let me get back to the first screen. I like that screen. There we go. That's that there. Next I'm going to pull the charger out to show you guys how that hooks in. And then we're going to take a quick test spin just to make sure it's working the way we want it to. All right, guys, it does have a Bluetooth app for this battery too if you wanted to look at it from your phone. You can go through the motions here. It gives you this. You can download. You'll have you click this. I already did it to try to see if I can do it. You can translate the page because it's definitely all in Chinese, and then install the Android version. I already tried to download it, but then it came up with all the security warnings. So you hear file can't be downloaded securely. And then even when you do that, it's telling you Google won't let it and da-da-da-da. So I might just not go with this and just use the screen that comes with the battery, because, I mean, kind of all them red flags come up with all this stuff. So until they make this more streamlined where you can just download it off, it would be easier. But it ain't working too good this way. So I would not go with the app. I would just go with the screen display. So just a note for you guys. All right, this is the charger that comes with the unit. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. When you're mounting it, I would mount it on like metal if you can. Like we're going to use aluminum right here. We got these tabs, like I mentioned. It's hard for you guys to see that down. Let me shine a light. You can see those metal tabs there. This one here and that one. We're gonna self tap some like a piece of aluminum to there, and that's where we're gonna mount our charger. It'll be something like this sitting on there. That way we'll get good airflow. The fan's not horizontal, so in case you get through wetness or sand, it's not going to get stuck in there. And what's cool about the charger here, you just got the Anderson plug, kind of like winches and stuff. You're done, and you just plug this in. Our NOCO port is just going to allow, we're just going to be able to plug this into the back, and then we could just plug an extension cord into the front. That way we don't have to pull a cord out from underneath the seat. We can still plug into like the factory spot. So that's how we're going to mount that. But first, before we do any of that mounting, which you guys probably don't need to see it mounted, but we'll show you a final when we're done mounting it. We're going to take this for a quick spin, make sure we're getting the full speed we need to get. Then we can start, putting the covers back on, stuff, things like that, and then tidying this job up. All right, we got a couple more miles an hour than we're used to getting, which, I mean, you are limited by your motor too. They got that little thing on there. It's supposed to tell your speeds, but it definitely picks up and goes faster. I mean, it really jerks you back. Not bad, but I definitely like the takeoff. It's got a nicer takeoff than it used to. Plus, like I said, we're 230 pounds lighter. So being 230 pounds lighter helps. I just thought I would possibly pick up more speed than that. But it could be a ground thing too. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But it definitely has the pick up and go. I mean, it feels pretty good. So I'd say that's a successful job. Now we just got to get our other stuff mounted and we'll be all done. Okay, guys. First thing we're going to do, we just got our charger set up here. We want to see if it's taking a charge and see if the display reads that. We're just going to plug our plug in. Only goes one way, so you can't really mess it up. Our charger light's on. Oh, I hear the fan just kicked on over here. The display now says charging, so it's also giving it the charge. Looks pretty good. We're going to be getting the new dash, the carbon fiber dash, so then this will probably be moved. But for right now, it's doing what it's supposed to. I was hoping for more speed out of it, but I could be limited. I know there's a magnet or something in the motors that you could change out, give you a little bit more, but we might be limited to 22, 23 miles an hour, which is fine with me. I think if it's over 20, you got to supposed to license it here in Florida anyway or something. So we definitely ain't going to go over 20, especially for what we do. So this will be more than good enough. We just got to tidy everything up. We'll mount our charger in here. I just wanted you guys to see how this goes because we still got to get more aluminum to mount that. So for the sake of this video, showing you that once you mount this on board, it'll, like I said, it'll sit in some spot and it just plugs in there with the Anderson plug. And it's cool. It's nice that it has the pull here so you can pull it apart easy. And this is a 20 amp charger. So it says it can charge this battery from empty to full in 5 hours, which that'll be awesome. But we do have a charge in. We still got to tidy things up in here. We're going to put a fuse block. I'll show you what that looks like. And here it is. Here's our fuse block we're going to use. It's a 6 position. And then if the fuse blows, the light will light up inside and let us know what is bad. So like I said, we're going to put probably, I'm not sure what side we'll mount the charger on. Maybe that side, because that's where the terminals are. We'll probably mount the charger over there. And that's where the, when we get that NOCO thing, it's going to go in there. We might record a video of us putting the NOCO in. Just, I mean, it's a pretty self-explanatory, but we might do a quick one on that, a short or something. But then this is going to mount over here once we get a panel, along with our DC to DC converter. They'll mount here. Everything will come out of this that needs 12 volts. All right, guys, you can see we have this cleaned up a little bit. We have our DC to DC converter over here. We just put on some plywood, and the other side's undercoated to help weatherize it for a while. And then we have our fuse block here, which we only have 2 things in it right now, the bumper lights and the turn signals. Our underglow lights don't seem to be working right now, but that's another story. And then on this side, you can see we have our charger put on, and we have the wood down there, same as the other side, undercoated on the back, but we put the charger on a piece of aluminum. That way it helps dissipate heat a little better, and it works pretty good. And then on the front, you can see we have our NOCO plug put in. That's the new plug. We put that in. So now all we do is plug an extension cord into there, and then we are up and charging. So most of this is pretty cleaned up. I mean, most of these wires, what you see the most of, and that, like I said, that's the underglow lights, which aren't working right now. But we'll get those fixed and probably reroute those a little better. But it's definitely a nice, cleaner setup in here, and we are happy with the job. So we're going to go out and give some fun with this and see how good it's going to do. I like that it took 230 pounds off. I like that it's going to be a cleaner look inside of here. It seems great. The takeoff, though, is nice. I mean, I think if somebody was standing on the back of this, we might pop a wheelie. Might be a short. You never know. But that being said, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank Cloud Energy for sending the battery out for us to test out. We're going to give it a good run through, see what it's doing, see how it is. We still got to strap this down yet. Actually, let me throw a strap on here to show you what it's going to look like. All right, we got one of the straps on. We're going to put one more over here. I'm not sure with this how this hits the plastic. It might vibrate a hole through it. So if, I don't know, maybe I'll put foam behind there, or I'll come up with a different mounting solution. Maybe a couple of bungees that hook from one side to the other. That might work out pretty good too. But and they do include a lot of extra stuff. So if you are going to go with these, you can cut it down and heat the end or burn the end down so it doesn't fray. These will work perfectly for you. But looks good in there. I'm excited to get testing this thing and get down the road and see how long it lasts. That's the important thing. Our lead acids, man, they got down to where they weren't lasting but 20 minutes. So here we are, ready to go. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below. We'll get to them. If you are interested in anything we use in our video, like the Cloud Energy battery, we'll definitely leave a link to them. If we can get you guys a discount code or anything, we will. We'll leave whatever links there will probably be the best deal they got at the time. And anything else, we'll leave links, probably be at Amazon links. Don't cost you nothing. Help support our channel. We get a little kickback from that. Appreciate that, guys. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Try something new.